Gráine Kennedy.
Hello everyone. I had a bit of a crisis there when it came to Pauline asking me about my career, because my mother tells people I just switch off lights for a living. But I am an environmental awareness officer. Not a professional tree hugger, but I would like to, because, you know, it's great to get your arms around a tree every now and again. But we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. But first of all, I'd just like to get the formalities out of the way. So can everyone look to their left? Everyone looking to their left? And can everyone look to their right? Is everyone aware of their environment? Everyone, oh, what a glorious sound of the, oh, that joke is so painful, so painful. But anyway, so it's so lovely to be here. As I say, I'm an environmental awareness officer, and in my role, obviously, I care a lot about the environment, and I do a lot of engagement around that. And I've been interested in sustainability for years and years and years, and probably, unlike a lot of people, I can remember specifically the time when I became engaged on all this stuff. So it's hard to see with the lights here now. You guys could all be like 15, 45 or 70. I don't know what generation you're from, but I'm a child of the 80s, and, you know, woohoo, one, yes. So as that lovely person will know, sustainability and climate change was not a priority. Like, we were focused on the Cold War and how to get the figs into the fig rolls. Which, like, guys, come on, it's 20 years. Someone tell us how it's done. So I was a very interesting, outgoing child, and I was spending the spring reading the Encyclopedia Britannica as a very, you know, outgoing child. So I'd gotten to the letter T. And the letter T is amazing because, like, half of it is about trees, right? So I was having the time of my life. I was reading about trees, all the different things they did. And, you know, it's like that Netflix series, you're 2 or 3 episodes in, there's a time where you should stop, right? And that time for me was before I read about climate change and deforestation and the whole lot. And, like, my little 8-year-old heart was broken, absolutely broken. But I'm not one to wallow in my sorrows, really. So I thought, like, you know, you kind of have to do something about this. So I decided to, like, start a political campaign, you know, in the place where most political campaigns start, and that's in rural Wexford. And I was just like, people need to know about this. People need to know. So I thought I'd start with the crowd I know, 4th class, Courtnacoody Primary School. They'll get it, right? So the next day, the whole school was meeting, and I knew this meeting was happening, and it was a big deal. So if you can imagine, like, basketball court, half of the school on one side, half of the school on the other. Tension is immense. Tumbleweed floats across the basketball court. And I'm waiting and I'm ready with my message. I am there to spread the news about climate change to these kids, even if they don't want it. So anyway, I'm ready. And next thing I hear the words, Red Rover, Red Rover. We call over Gráinne. And guys, I was there. I started running across that playground. I started sharing my message. I was like, trees are amazing. Trees convert carbon dioxide to oxygen, and animals live in them. What's not to love about trees? Well, by the time I'd gotten to the other side of the playground, I was absolutely out of breath. And I could see the 2 arms in front of me, which Red Rover aficionados would know you have to brake. And I couldn't do it. I threw my body and still didn't break them. So I was never called on for Red Rover again that day. So went home, regrouped, thought to myself, Gráinne, your message is good, right? There's nothing wrong with your message. The medium could do with a bit of work, right? They're not there yet. You know, you need to understand your audience, you know, do a bit of polling. Think about it. So I thought to myself, what is the one thing that, like, my peer group really love and are obsessed with? And how can I use that? And it just came to me straight away. Because there was an obsession, people, nay, an addiction, that went around the playgrounds of the Irish primary schools in that time. And I will mention it because many people have forgotten, but I have not forgotten. Fancy paper, guys. Collectors down the back. Fancy paper. What is fancy paper? This poor gentleman is like, what is going on here? Right, so fancy paper is, ironically enough, paper which is fancy, right? But there's a lot of things that make it fancy, right? There's no A4 fool's cap here, right? It's teeny, bloody tiny. You can't write anything on it. It's about that big. And you'll have them in different shapes. Love hearts, you know, French painting shapes, which was weird, you know, primary school kids. And kittens and scented fancy paper, and like they were all really, really fine, and you'd have unicorns and ponies, and everyone was into their own specific fancy paper. And most of the business leaders that we see today, most of the women that are leading this country, started off bartering fancy paper because that is where you learned how to get what you want in life. And for me, I was at an advantage with this because I was like, okay, what do they want? What everyone wanted was fancy paper, but a specific type of fancy paper, which I had and I wasn't too fond of. Kitten fancy paper, guys. I had gotten a shipment in. My Auntie Anne had been to visit, and I was like, kitten fancy paper? If it had been unicorn fancy paper, I would have been all over it. But anyway, I had it, and I was like, right, I'm going to write these little messages around, and it'll be like part of the fancy paper, and it'll be like, make it even fancier. So there was like little messages like, trees are amazing, you know. Trees, you know, stabilise the soil, you know, which is a long word for a fourth class child. And then you had like, it got really, really dark where, you know, I was just like, why did you cut down this tree to make this fancy paper? But anyway, so came into school the next day, let it be known that there was kitten fancy paper up for grabs. So before small break, it was all gone, right? I was all ready to celebrate, and next thing I was called into the teacher's class, or the teacher's office. And someone had reported me for defacing private property, and we all got in trouble. And classic, I don't know, is there any primary school teachers here? Sorry, no? Classic primary school teacher behaviour, don't punish the one child who did the thing, punish everyone. So they will absolutely throw her out of their social circle. She will learn, right? So that's exactly what happened. The whole fancy paper operation got shut down, right? I was persona non grata, and I kind of got a little bit desperate. I have to say, guys, I had my message to share, and I'm not proud of what I did, you know, but sometimes you need to scream at your other classmates that there will be no more snow. And then you deal with the consequences. You deal with the crying and the parents being called in and, you know, the teacher calling you to one side. But look, I'm not proud of it, you know. I should have known, you know, warmer temperatures, more precipitation in the atmosphere. We were actually going to have more snow events, you know. But anyway, rookie mistake, you know. But so it wasn't easy being an environmentalist back in the 80s. Bit easier now because, of course, it's on everyone's agenda, and no more so than, you know, the last few weeks when we had COP in Glasgow. I'm a bit ashamed to say that, like, I've worked in this stuff for nearly 15, 20 years, and I've no idea what COP stands for. It could be, like, I hope it's like Coven of Pixies. Or, like, I know people are giving out, so they were saying, you know, it's, you know, could be Circle of Penises, but because there was no women there. But, like, you know, these are serious people. These are scientists. You know, they'd definitely be Circle of Peni. You know, it really would be. But I often think that, like, if you're like the Pacific Islands or, you know, Philippines or any of these countries that are kind of at the coalface of climate change, that going to COP or any of these things is almost like going to, like, your colleague's birthday dinner party or whatever. You know, your colleague, the UN, she gets everyone together, you know, 195 of her closest friends. You all go out for dinner. You know, you have a nice meal, but, like, you're on this diet where you're living within your planetary boundaries. You don't go mad. And then it comes to the end of the meal anyway, and the UN is there. She's looking at the bill. She's going down through it. She's very good at maths, in fairness, is the UN. And she's figuring it all out anyway. And next thing, a voice comes from the back of the room anyway. And it says, divided by 195. And you think it's Switzerland. Like, you're not sure, but, like, you really think it's Switzerland. So, UN anyway, she goes, divide by 195. Okay, guys, that is 37 billion for climate action. Everyone here is to pay. Is everyone okay with that? Everyone okay? Everyone okay? And you kind of have to stand up. You're like, no, that's not okay. I only had a salad. I didn't even have the wine. Like, Ireland is over there. Like, who mixes milk and Guinness and, like, 4 steaks? Like, that's just not good for your stomach, you know? And, like, you've really made your argument, and, like, pretty soon Trinidad and Tobago are up with you. The Philippines, for some reason, seems to be paying more money than anyone else. So they're like, fuck this for a game of soldiers. And, you know, the UN says, look, guys, fair enough. So she's there with her calculator. Nobody goes to the nightclub. You stay in a conference centre for 10 days, and that's how it all gets sorted. Boom. But it is really historic though, even though like there's a lot of, that people are disappointed with that meeting in Glasgow. But like if you had to say like even 20 or 30 years ago to people, we're going to have like all the world leaders meet and it's going to be like, you know, deciding on what creates the best world, you know, which is pretty amazing. But we're kind of lacking those historical speeches, I think. You know, I know we have it from Greta Thunberg and David Attenborough, but they're not actual country leaders. So like, if you imagine, you know, if Winston Churchill had been there, you know, he probably would have said something like, you know, we'll fight this on the beaches, but we may not fight it on the landing ground because fuck, we've no money, lads. We have no money and we need the markets to get behind this. Or Roosevelt, he might have said, today is a day that will live in infamy. Today is the day we figured out our carbon methodology. Today will be forever known as Tuesday. Or my all-time favourite, of course, John F. Kennedy, he would say, ask not what your country is doing. Ask, what are China at? What are they at, like? Do you know? Because that's what a lot of it's about. You're like, guys, what are they doing? But, you know, it can be a bit doom and gloom, but ultimately, what I'd like people to all remember is like everyone who's an environmentalist in any way, you know, it all comes from love, really, you know, because we love our planet, we love our lifestyles, we love our fellow man, we love all these different animals, and it cannot be, you know, said enough how cool Earth is. You know, we have sloths, guys. Sloths. Like the mammals that climbed a tree, not sluts, right? But in fairness, sloths and sluts have brought joy to millions. They've brought joy. You know, and like even the things that are meant to be crap are amazing. Do you know, pigeons, guys? Pigeons are the skater boys of the sky, right? See, skater boys, right? Or skater girls, skater people. Like 3 cool, like, pushes and then they're off, carried by gravity and coolness, right? Pigeons, 3 big flaps of their wings and then they're woo. I like to think that when a pigeon catches that air, it goes, whoa. You know? Pigeons, guys. And then the best thing about Earth, I think we can all agree, is that Idris is here. Yes. Idris is like, he'll never be in this room, guys, but he's on this planet. He is on this planet. Idris Elba at any one time is breathing pretty much the same air as the rest of us. I know he left like to go to Asgard for a while, but he's back. That's a nerd joke there. But yeah, so like I don't understand, you know, we mentioned Jeff Bezos, whose ears must be burning, you know, or Richard Branson. Like, why do you want to go to space? Like, Idris isn't there. I feel like with Idris and Beyonce, we need to be monitoring them because, like, if they're going to set up like this plantation on Mars, they're going to kidnap them. Do you know? I don't want to be on a planet where Idris and Beyonce aren't there. So that's like, definitely love is a powerful, powerful emotion. And love is like way better than fear because I think with like climate stuff, people get like mobilized by, or not immobilized. Forgot the word. Stopped by fear. But like for environmental people, tree huggers, like anyone who's been involved in this game for a long time and been kind of campaigning when it wasn't cool, there's been one other emotion that has kept them going, and I think it's not mentioned enough. So we have love, we have fear, and then we have smugness, guys. When you see Mario on Mario Brothers going along and he hits that like coin or the mushroom and he goes, woo, that's what smugness is for environmentalists, right? So like smugness is thin on the ground though these days, which is good, but also bad because there's like that little extra hit that we need. And so I'll just give you a few examples. So I was all ready to chat Christmas presents with my sister. And you know, I was there, I was ready to feel smug. You know, I'd gotten everyone hemp socks and solar ovens that they'd never see that would go to the third world. Do you know, like that's quality smugness there, right? I said to my sister, what are you buying your husband? And she said, oh, I'm getting him what he always wanted. And I was like, oh, what's that? And she said, an air source heat pump. And I was like, well, I can't bring out the solar ovens now. No smugness there. Was arranging to meet my friend Quiva for shopping there last week. Annual Christmas trip. We don't do any shopping. We just judge people who are in the shops. And I was getting, you know, ringing her to arrange where we'd meet. I said, Quiva, where are you coming into? I'll meet you at whatever car park you're at. She said, oh, no. She said, I won't drive in. I wouldn't clog up the city. And she said, I'll cycle in. And I was like, oh, grand. Cuiva lives in Naas. Yeah, I was all like there with my, I travelled in by the train, delight with myself, ready to go. No. But like definitely the straw that broke the turtle's buzz was the day I went and met my friend John for coffee. And of course, all environmentalists, we love our keep cups. So was ready with my keep cup, all ready to feel smug, and took it out anyway. And John looks at me like I am scum of the earth, right? And he says to me, do you know how much energy it took to make that cup? And I said, well, obviously I have no idea, but like I need a cup to drink my coffee in. And John says, do you? Do you? And then he orders his drink, jumps in behind the counter, has the barista poured straight into his mouth. No waste, no smugness for me. No smugness for me. So many of you might have environmentalist friends who, now that you know, they'll be missing out on the joy of smugness. So I feel there are a few things you can do. So, first of all, when you're meeting your friend, kind of just run along, bring along a disposable cup with you, even if you don't need it, and just kind of, I've been busy drinking coffee. They look at you with disgust and be full of smugness. Great. Then, if you're ordering, this is much simpler to do. So if you're ordering drinks, always offer them a straw, right? So, Coca-Cola, straw. Pint of Guinness, straw. Tequila shot, straw, right? They will have that little moment, just a little kind of power-up moment in between telling you, no, they do not want a straw, and they'll be full of smugness, which would be great for them, right? Yeah. But I do warn, right, don't run away with yourself with the whole coffee tea thing, right? Because they'll spot then it's a not really proper, and they'll be like, no, you're trying to make me feel better. Or the third thing, which is what I love to do, is you can carry around a clean cotton bud with you, and you can kind of roll it along your fingers as if you're a villain, right? Whenever you're thinking, or if you're in a jaunty mood, it's the world's smallest majorette baton. It's like the cheap fidget spinner. But I see that mightn't be easy for a lot of people, particularly many of the ladies may not have the number of pockets you need for carrying around these. So I feel, you can go very old school on this. You can basically just, get a notepad, something nice, something small, doesn't need to be a lot, maybe has a little bit of decoration on it, possibly scented, right? And then you can write on this notepad anyway, something like, Amy, we all agree, for your friend, we all agree you are 10% better than everyone else, right? Give it to Amy, she sticks it up in the mirror, looks at it every day when she's walking out of the house, has that little power up. So anyone looking for stationery, I'll be down the back, shitload of kitten fancy paper. So thank you very much, guys.